hello, we're just finishing up making some spaghetti. Here I'm joined with my little chef. Gonna say hi, little chef? Little chef! Oh no, ouch, 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 ouch. Little chef. Could be one of them, it could be one of the cats. Meow. Meow. Meow.
What are you, retarded?
Hello everyone, happy Thursday, hope you're doing well. Here at an episode of the Linguini's Corner. Thank you for coming by. Still trying to get the kinks out. Try to look like a professional podcast, but it'll just take time. But thank you for coming by, I appreciate it. Today we're talking about my top 10 favorite JRPGs. First we're going to talk about what a JRPG actually is. There we go. So I found this handy dandy. What is a JRPG? A guide to Japanese role-playing games. For most, I guess, people discover role-playing games, but because JRPG means a Japanese role-playing game, which means it's role-playing games that are made in Japan, pretty much. But, as it says here, as much as it really is a niche genre in the role-playing game category. This is what is a JRPG exactly? Well, its name seems straightforward. There's more than just its origins. The article divides into a captivating world of JRPGs, exploring their core characteristics, gameplay, mechanics, popular tropes, and the reasons behind their enduring appeal. So I thought this was interesting. So it's going to talk about what is a JRPG, the 5 core categories. There we have new Dawntrail expansion for Final Fantasy 14. I don't know if you heard of the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy 14's free trial up to level 70, where you can play Realm Reborn and the award-winning expansions Heaven's War and Stormblood for free with no limit on gameplay time. You go check it out. Anyway, that's my plug for today. So it says, let's talk about. So it says, let's talk about what a JRPG is. What is a JRPG? While there's no single definition that perfectly encapsulates every JRPG, there's some key characteristics that set them apart from other role-playing games. So first one is the story-driven adventures. So they are renowned for their emphasis on narrative. That is true. They often feature grand epic stories that unfold over dozens of hours. Yes, dozens upon dozens of hours, some of them. Players embark on quests to save the world, overthrow evil empires, or unravel ancient mysteries. Narrative takes center stage, weaving emotional journeys that resonate with players. That's true. Usually some of the tropes are saving the world. They always have to save the world most of the time. Or throw down some type of bad guy. It's always usually something around saving the world. Oh, hello, HT. How are you, sir? Appreciate you coming here. You just came in time. Talk about what JRPG is, which is a Japanese role-playing game, which means it's pretty much just a role-playing game that's made in Japan. And talk about different characteristics that make it different from regular role-playing games. So the first one is the story-driven adventures. Any JRPG has a very intense story that lasts for hours. It's usually about saving the world or overthrowing some bad guy. That's pretty much what the JRPG is. Typical story of a JRPG. Happy you're here. I was all by myself for a second, like, oh no. Is my volume good, by the way? I have no one to tell me the volume's good or not. Is this sexiness good enough for you? Hope I'm not too loud. Okay, good. Awesome. So first is the story. So very story driven the game is. It's very story driven. Any JRPG you have that's what the main base of any JRPG is, a story. But second is turn-based combat. Oh no problem, I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. You can just listen. I appreciate you being here. So 2 is turn-based combat. Traditionally, the definition of a JRPG has been tied to the turn-based combat system it fosters. In it, players take turns issuing commands to their characters, strategizing attacks, use of magic, and deploying defensive maneuvers. While some modern JRPGs incorporate action elements into the combat, turn-based systems remain a core aspect of many, which is true. Nowadays, they kind of move more to action, like at fast pace, not when you attack, the enemy attacks, you attack, you go back and forth. They changed it nowadays with a little more action. They try to include more action in turn-based, where you can move the characters around in combat and attack while the enemies attack. Final Fantasy 16, it's all fast paced. There's no like you go, the enemy goes. It's all just action goes all at once. But traditionally, in any old school JRPG is turn-based, where a character goes, then the enemy goes, and back and forth until you defeat the enemy or the enemy wipes you. So turn-based combat. 3 is character progression. So they say it's a hallmark of JRPGs in the depth character development system. Players earn experience points, like EXP, throughout battles and exploration, allowing the characters to level up and acquire new skills and abilities and equipment. This progression system fosters a sense of accomplishment as players witness the characters transform from fledgling adventurers into formidable heroes. Like any RPG, really, it's like any RPG in general. The characters level up and they grow and get stronger. I think more like the story, usually the story-driven aspect, you see the characters get more, at least a good story, kind of develop more as it goes. In that sense too, with character progression. Then 4 is anime-inspired aesthetics. The JRPGs are often distinguished by their visual style, drawing inspiration from anime and manga. Character designs tend to be vibrant and expressive, featuring large eyes, of course, colorful hair, and extravagant features. As we know, some of those cartoon ladies. The environments themselves are meticulously crafted, mimicking with fantastical landscapes, bursting towns, and awe-inspiring dungeons. So yeah, definitely like anime, style, Japanese art style with the big eyes and colorful hair, crazy hair that always stays in place. It's perfectly never gets messed up. Crazy outfits. A lot of them at least have that anime look to it. Not all. Some might try to be more realistic, but most of the time with JRPG, it's more like anime cartoon style to it. That's why I first fell in love with JRPGs was the 2D graphics and how it kind of looked like you're in a somewhat of a cartoon. Kind of goes back to my time with point-and-click adventures like Toon Truck and Monkey Island 3, Curse of Monkey Island. That cartoon feel. So 5 is emphasis on teamwork. That's a big one for JRPGs and anime in general, it seems. JRPGs typically involve a party of characters, each with unique strengths and weaknesses. Players strategically build their party composition, exploiting character synergies and utilizing their combined skills to overcome challenges. The sense of the camaraderie and teamwork adds another layer of depth to the gameplay experience. So yeah, I definitely see what characters look better when it goes to battle, but also like in story too, about teamwork. How usually teamwork is what saves the world. They all work together to save the world. Usually get together, different kinds of people, like in like many other stories. Unlikely people get together and they slowly create a bond and become friends, and with their teamwork, they save the world. But also when it comes to gameplay too, depending on the game, some characters do better together when it comes to combat. One that I didn't list on here, so I could say like Chrono Trigger, they do that with different characters. You can do different combo attacks with them and stuff, and some are more powerful than others. So then there's some tropes in JRPGs. So some recurring themes of tropes we may encounter. So of course you might have heard this one. Again, it's like in animes. The power of friendship, of course. The power of friendship, like I just said, with teamwork and all is what saves the planet. So the power of friendship, the unwavering belief in the power of friendship is a cornerstone of many JRPGs. Friends become a source of strength, overcoming seriously insurmountable odds through teamwork. Like I said, loyalty and unwavering support for one another. Power of friendship conquers all, pretty much. You have another one is the chosen one. That's a big one. That's kind of seen more now in movies nowadays. How like, especially like female, how the one female is the chosen one. She's the one that has all the power. She can save the world type of stuff. But that's been going on a long time before that. But JRPGs did a better job with that with the chosen one. Chosen one, the protagonist is often thrust into an extraordinary world, destined to save the world or fulfill an ancient prophecy. The trope provides a clear purpose for the player character and fuels the epic journey. Yeah, usually like the main character has to go save the world. It's their job to get a team together and save the world. Or sometimes too, or there is like a chosen one, they have to go help and they become part of it too, and they have to help that person save the world as well. Which we'll get to. It's kind of one of the games on my list that does that. And of course, one of the big ones is saving the world. That is saving the world. That's like number one. Saving the world from looming catastrophe is a common objective in JRPGs. Players face off against powerful villains, thwarting their plans and restoring peace to the land. That's pretty much any JRPG out there. Saving the world in some way. And then the grind, that's pretty much any RPG in general, but earning experience points and earning through battles level up characters is a classic JRPG element. While some modern JRPG streamline this process, grinding remains a familiar aspect of veteran players. Like any RPG, you have to level up to finally be able to defeat that boss or get through that dungeon. I've done that in many JRPGs myself with some of the bosses. I had to kind of grind still in the dungeon just to get a higher level before I could actually defeat the boss. It's kind of grueling. You have to kind of keep fighting the same enemies or whatever to kind of level up. But you do it and you see it makes much improvement. And then the cute and cuddly. So let's see what they say. Cute and cuddly. JRPGs often feature adorable mascots or companions that accompany the player on their journey. These mascots add just a touch of lightheartedness and provide additional support through the adventure. So yeah, mascots like sometimes the hero has like a pet wolf or dog, some type of animal with them. Or some games you have like monsters you use for a battle. Kind of like Pokemon. That's one. Or Link, they show here. Well, I don't know. Zelda's really they have aspects of JRPG Zelda, but it's like the fairy that follows them, like a companion. So delving deeper, there's 4 subgenres of JRPGs. Now you already know that JRPGs, we know what a JRPG is, but we need to talk about genres. The vast world of JRPGs encompass a diverse range of subgenres. So here's one. So I didn't really know this too much. So the different subgenres JRPG. One is JRPGs with tactical combat. These JRPGs emphasize strategic grind-based combat, requiring players to carefully position their units and exploit enemies' positions. Game like Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactic Ogres, and the one I was playing before, what was it, that one I was playing, whatever. One I should go back to, the tactical one. I don't know if the HT remembers the name. He's busy, but that sword one I've been playing. It's the same type of thing where you have to move your characters around and strategically place them to defeat the enemies. So that would be a JRPG with tactical combat. Then 2 is a life simulation JRPG. So these JRPGs blend traditional RPG elements with life simulation mechanics. Players manage their characters' daily lives, build relationships, and explore social aspects alongside the main story. So games like Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley fall under this category. So you might be playing one, you might not realize that if you played Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley, it's actually like a JRPG. Because you are doing things, there's a story, build relationships, and leveling up. Thank you, Sword of a Million. I appreciate that. Sword of a Million, thank you. It was Sword of something, Sword of a Million, which is free to play and highly encourage you guys to go out and play. It's also on mobile. I haven't had the time really to play it, go back to it, but it's a fun little game. So like harvesting, those Japanese harvesting games, farming games, you consider that JRPG as well. And then dungeon crawlers. Adventures beware. Dungeon crawlers plunge players into perilous labyrinths teeming with monsters, traps, and untold treasures. These action-packed JRPGs provide vitalized exploration combat as players navigate treacherous dungeons in search of fame and fortune. This is first-person perspective and customizable party mechanics. The Trainers Odyssey series, I don't know what that is. Series challenges players to map out intriguing dungeon layouts while mastering a diverse array of character classes and abilities. Then Shiren the Wanderer tests players' mettle with punishing difficulties and roguelike elements. I guess like ARPGs, but again, this is made in Japan, and it's more like a JRPG version of that. Dungeon crawler. Then you have the visual novel JRPGs. So blurring the lines between interactive storytelling and role-playing, visual novel JRPGs offer players a deeply immersed narrative experience. These games feature branching storylines, extensive dialogue choices, and character-driven plots that unfold based on players' decisions. Yes, the Persona series, I don't know if you know about the Persona series. They made a ton of them now. They definitely have a lot of dialogue choices and branching storylines that your decisions change how the story goes. The Persona series has captive audience worldwide, inviting players to balance their daily lives because you play as high school students with battling supernatural threats and alternative reality. Yep, like you go during the day, you're high school students, you live and doing your high school stuff, and at night you go and fight demons and monsters. So while you're not fighting monsters during the day, you're just living your life, going on, studying and going out with friends and dating. What's Bible Black? I don't know what that is. Bible Black? I know when you have a chance, you have to tell me what that is. Bible Black. And then Steins Gate as well, which I've heard of Steins Gate. I haven't played it, but that's more like, yes, like I think more talky. You kind of pick your choices, kind of decide the outcome. So here, going to talk about some famous franchises. Of course, there's Final Fantasy. Everyone knows Final Fantasy, whether you play them or not. Final Fantasy is a really big JRPG franchise. Even though I've heard Square Enix really likes the term JRPG, but well, that's okay. I'll look into that Bible Black. I don't know if you heard Persona. Persona is a different game. I know when I first saw it, it's like I played Persona 3. It's the first one I played on the PSP. And that was interesting because the guy like shoots himself in the head to summon his monster. He doesn't die, but it's like they have like guns and it's like no ammo, but it kind of put in the head, so the thing, and like that's how they trigger their supernatural powers to come to life when they battle. But it's interesting. It's very story driven. It's very good. The characters. They've made a few animes too. Persona 5. I think 5 Royal is probably I think it's the best version. If not, I think they're always making more versions of that, like a cash grab. But I know Persona 5 Royal's really good. I never finished it. I just got some way into it. So yeah, Final Fantasy is one of the new ones, the remakes. Dragon Quest, that's also a very popular series. It's renowned charm for the lighthearted story, turn-based combat. It's a cornerstone JRPG genre. Lots of memorable characters and the classic hero's journey. That's a big one in JRPGs is the hero's journey. That's pretty much it. The hero's journey. See how they grow. And I've heard like Dragon Quest, which we'll get into, is one of those franchises where in the past and around about now, but I remember like old Japan would kind of shut down when a new Dragon Quest game came out. At least that's what I heard. Just to play the game, people would call out sick. It's usually not something they would do just so they could play the new Dragon Quest game. It's a big popular series over there. Then they say Pokemon, which I think is also is type of a JRPG because you do have monsters and you level them up and you go. I think it is a JRPG, and for many it might be their first JRPG. I think maybe it was one of my first JRPGs without realizing it as a kid. Pokemon. Even though the Crack Guys is a standalone franchise and its own thing, Pokemon's core mechanics, firmly place it within the JRPG realm. Players capture, train, and battle adorable creatures known as Pokemon, embarking on a journey to become the ultimate Pokemon trainer. So the way it does. Then they also say Zelda, which is an interesting one. Because it takes a lot of classic RPG elements, like exploration, character progression, item collection. Of course, they take the world of Link. So like the chosen one is supposed to save the world. I think that's it for that. So yeah, so that's just a little bit about JRPGs. You can find this. I'll link it in the description later. This is an article from Main Leaf. And so if you want to kind of look at what a JRPG is, you can look at it later. So now moving on, before actually I'm going to kind of blue ball and kind of tease inside. I'm going to tease the audience, but before I go to my top 10, since I've played a lot of JRPGs over the years, so I wanted to give some honorable mentions. It took a little time to figure out what games I really wanted as my top 10 favorites. So first, I'm going to do some honorable mentions. Fire Emblem. I don't know what my game is, but I do have the guidebook for it. I don't know what my cartridge is. It's somewhere. I have the guidebook. Fire Emblem. Oh, can you see it? I have to go back. Here we go. Fire Emblem. Game Boy Advance. So, Fire Emblem is a tactical role-playing game developed by Intelligent Systems and published by Nintendo. It's the seventh installment of Fire Emblem. I think it was the first one that came out in North America. I think before, I could be wrong, but I think I might say it here. I think before it was only in Japan. It was like the first time it came. It was the first one to come into to the North America. It was released in 2003. It's a tactical role-playing game. It's like Sword of Vermilion. You play as the three stories. You start with the three main characters. You start with one of their stories, and you continue. You move on from there. And it was a pretty good game. I remember you get characters, but in this game, the character dies, gets killed. You can't bring him back. So that was like the thing. So you always have, like if you like the character, you have to like replay that level if you lost the character, because that would stink. The characters not come back. They die for good. So yeah, it tells the story of Lynn, Elwood, and Hector, three young lords who band together on a journey to find Elwood's missing father, Elbert, while thwarting a larger conspiracy threatening the stability of Elbit. Fire Emblem and titles features tactical combat between armies on a grid-based map. I'm going to show a video right now. And like it says here, characters are assigned different character classes that affect this abilities and are subject to permanent death to defeat in battle. Yeah, that was definitely that was a hard blow for me. When some of the characters I like died, like no. But I also my memory of this was actually playing it on the you could play it on your TV because they had that. I can see it here on the bottom. They had that thing, that Game Boy Advance player, where you could put Game Boy player. You can put on your Game Boy GameCube, and you can play it on the TV. So you actually could, instead of just playing it on your Game Boy Advance, you could actually play it on the TV. I thought that was pretty cool. I did that too. Play it on the TV. Let's see. It's like combat. I'm gonna show a video. So I'm gonna play a video. Let me know if can you hear it HD? Combat. It was like graphics too. It's really like it's like so familiar. And magic and axes and swords. You can play it today if you have the membership. Okay, sounds good, good. Okay, good. So that was one. Now I'm gonna move right along to the next honorable mention. So Fire Emblem's a good one. I encourage people to go play that one. Next one is Blue Dragon. So Blue Dragon, I was actually surprised by. I actually really enjoyed it back in the day. Blue Dragon, another JRPG, but the creative Dragon Ball actually did the character designs for the game. So if you're familiar with Dragon Ball, you kind of can see you can kind of see, hey, the guy looks kind of familiar. The characters kind of look like they come out of Dragon Ball, even the ship and stuff. That's because the guy who created Dragon Ball Z, Mr. Akira Toriyama, who sadly has passed away this year, did the character designs for the game. Hey, Adeline, how are you? Happy Thursday. Just doing my honorable mentions. I didn't get to my top 10 yet. There's just so many JRPGs I've played that I just want to give some shout outs before I actually went down to my top 10. I kind of wanted to do a little tease. That's what I was doing. I wanted to tickle your pickle before I got down into the good stuff. So there's only a second one. I just did Fire Emblem. I'm not familiar with Fire Emblem Blazing Swords from the GBA Game Boy Advance. That was my first honorable mention. And now I'm over to Blue Dragon, which is an Xbox 360 role-playing game. And there wasn't too many. Well, it's a few, but it doesn't seem to be as many on the 360. These good ones, anyway. But yes, Blue Dragon was one. Was a pretty good game. They also made an anime out of it, but don't watch the American, the dubbed, the American version because they censored a lot of it out. You have to watch the traditional Japanese version. But it takes place in a fictional world, open world environment. The story focuses on 5 friends: Shu, Jiro, Kluke, Zola, and Maru as they travel across the world to confront Nini, the evil ruler of Grand Kingdom. And they follow traditional exploration and turn-based combat, like we talked about. It's one of the key elements of a JRPG is the turn-based combat. I think they'll say it came out in 2007 in North America. And then the gameplay, I'm going to talk about it, it's the shadows. Remember that much? They talk about it here. Oh yeah, the shadows. So that's the core mechanic. They summon shadows, magical shadows. Each of them have a different shadow. A dragon, phoenix, bat, a minotaur. Oh, good. I'm happy to hear that. A bat, minotaur, saber-tooth tiger. And each shadow can be assigned a single character class from a number of classes. They can level up and they do different abilities. That was a big thing. They used their shadows to fight. Well, we just talked about that. It has elements of a JRPG. So in some ways, it could be considered it. And if you believe like some of the tropes, like the chosen one who has to save the world, it's kind of like Link. He's kind of like the chosen one who has to go save the world. And that's like the big thing in any JRPG is saving the world, and that's kind of what Link does. So we just read that article, which I'm gonna post I'm gonna post in the description after I'm done. I'll post in the description that talks about what a JRPG, and you can look at it if you want. So that's Blue Dragon. I'm gonna show a video.
こんなことが許されるわけない。私絶対許さない。力が欲しい。行くぞ。自分の影に勝つんだ。奴らにとってはまだ戦闘は続いているのよ。壊れちゃうよ。ひどい。何が始まるんだ。
古代人の思い、全ての力を私は受け継いだ。お前ら虫けらならずに負けるわけがない。ルチャよ。
Is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door on the GameCube. I remember actually I found one of my old Nintendo Powers where they talk about the release of Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door from 2000 and probably 2000 and that's a good question. November 2004. I remember looking at it, and it was pretty cool. I never owned it. I did went to it. That's how I played it. I rented it back in the day. But I thought it was different for the time. I never played, at that time, I never played the Super Mario RPG. I always heard good things about. But this looked really cool. Pretty cool. But it's a role-playing game on the GameCube. Again, not too many, I don't think too many RPGs on the GameCube, JRPGs. It involved in this game, Mario and Princess Peach get involved in a search for a mystic treasure that holds great fortune. Peach is kidnapped, of course, because what else? By an alien group called the X-Nauts. Mario sets out to find the treasure and save the princess. It involves many gameplay elements from its processors, such as drawing-based art style and turn-based battle system. So you can just turn the paper, pretty much. That's the whole thing. Because the player controls a two-dimensional version of Mario and explores a variety of world design that look like paper. The whole thing. That's the whole thing. The world looks like paper. That was a really cool aspect of it. You can turn into a paper plane and stuff. In these localities, tasked with retrieving 7 crystal stars, which involves Mario completing puzzles, defeating enemies to proceed. Here's more pictures or not. Here's the boss. The combat's very turn-based. We have to hit. You have to this like button hits. You have to do correctly to get more points. To get more damage, I should say. And you have a partner with you to help you attack. So let me show you. I really like how it looked. Teenager. Really unique. I guess. That was cool too. That looks like a stage before. So that's that one. And finally, there's one more, and that is Shadow Heart's Covenant. I think Alan likes the cover. But Shadow Heart's Covenant is actually a sequel to, I guess, Shadow Hearts, which I never played, but I remember renting this one too, and I actually really enjoyed it. Covenant takes place in 1915, 6 months after the events of the first game. At the height of World War I, German Army Lieutenant Karen Koenig is drawn into a conflict between original protagonist Yui Huga, and he didn't need to, since I didn't play the second one, he did pretty well. He didn't need to actually play the first one to actually know what's going on in this one. The secret society, Septes, Gaudio. During gameplay, the player explores various locations through a growing party of characters. 4 characters take part in turn-based battles against a variety of enemies, with action relying on time-based system dubbed the Judgment Ring. The game's world view combines alternative history with elements of Lovecraftian horror. And I really did. That was one thing I did like about this. How the bad guy is Rasputin, and it's kind of funny how he comes in. He's like the bad guy It was very interesting story. I really enjoyed it. It is the Judgment Wings what you use to fight. You might say here. Oh yeah, here it is. Battle hearts go about depends on the proper use of the Judgment Wing shown. Here shown as one part of a combo try between multiple characters. You have to hit it just in the right space together to have like to do more damage. You like hit it at a certain place. I think red, if you hit it in the red, it means more damage. The orange is it's like a safe. You can get it anywhere there, but if you got like in the red, it'll do more. It'll do a better job, I believe. But yeah, it was really cool how it said 1915, like after World War One, and it was a little different, a little dark. It was cool. I'm gonna show a trailer for that. It wasn't so like good series right now. The style was kind of more of an old like. We did that. Style. Like more of a dog.
There is a man proclaimed hero for slaying evil and threatening the gods.
You really think you can defeat me?
Though he won his battle, the woman he loved was lost.
I love you.
Yuri Hyuga has returned and seeks vengeance for his suffering. In his search for redemption, he'll befriend a young woman.
Look at that!
Whose passion to save her country will take them on a dangerous journey.
Whenever he beats a monster, he takes their souls and then can fuse with them.
Together, they will face the ultimate evil. A secret society so powerful, it threatens to destroy the world as they know it.
I think Anastasia too. I think Anastasia.
The age of darkness is nigh! Soon my demon servants will bring death to all of Europe.
You're insane.
Now, only the power of the Judgment Ring and the help of those they trust will give them the strength they need to battle almighty forces and save the world.
What do you really think a puny human like you can do, huh? Let's go.
Midway presents the return of a hero. Shadowheart's Covenant. The quest for justice continues.
There you go. So those were the honorable mentions. So that was a little taste. So now time for the encore. That was appetizer. Now is for the entree. So yeah, my top 10 now. So for number 10 is actually Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X was the first Final Fantasy game I actually ever played as a kid, and the first Final Fantasy I ever beat as well. And from there, I kind of went backwards and played 9, 8, 7, and so on. And I really enjoyed it. The graphics, and it was like the first one too with like voice. So that was pretty cool. I remember playing with the Blitzball. And this is really cool. So it came out in 2001, the role-playing game, obviously. By that time, Squaresoft, not Square Enix. Yeah, no, Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X replaced the active time battle system with conditional turn-based battle, and used a new leveling system. Yes, like the Spear Grid, you would level up, you would put ability, you put points. About new things through the grid. That's how the characters would get better, learn different abilities, gain more HP and defense. Set in the fantasy world of Spira, a setting influenced by the South Pacific, Thailand, and Japan, the game's story revolves around a group of adventurers in a quest to defeat a rampaging monster known as Sin. Again, it goes back to one of the characteristics of JRPG. They defeat a giant, a big villain. The player character is Titus, or Titus, depending on how you say it. If I say Titus, a star athlete in the fictional sports of Blitzball, finds himself in Spira after Sin attacked his home city in Xanakin. Shortly after arriving in Spira, Titus becomes a guardian to summon a Yuna to destroy Sin. Upon learning its true identity, which we won't go in. I don't really want to spoil that. Spoiler. They gotta go into spoilers, so I won't go any more into that. But it was a really, let's see, anything else in here? It was a really cool game. It was, like I said, it was the first time I played a Final Fantasy game, but it was kind of familiar with turn-based combat. There was just pretty cool, really cool characters like Titus and Yuna and Aaron with his big sword, his flask, his jug, and Lulu and her Hot Topic outfit that she wore, or the belt. And Kamari, the blue lion, and Waka, the blitzball player. He hits the monster with his blitzball. But I was really big fan of summons. I love the summons that Yuna could summon. That was pretty cool. How those hidden summons you could get even more powerful, and they were really cool. Like Anima and the sisters. I can't think of the name. But yeah, it was a fun time. I wasn't too crazy about the blitzball though. It's kind of hard for me when you try to do the blitzball as a mini game. But it was still a really fun game. I really enjoyed it. I remember at the time I didn't know much about the spear grid. I just knew at the point that I was kind of like, oh, okay. But it was pretty simple. That's how I leveled up, collecting enough ability points, and you can unlock new abilities on this spear and attributes, skills. That was pretty cool. Nodes, I should say, spears apply to these nodes, unlocking its function for the set character. Yeah, it's something intertwined. You can unlock you can have Titus learn something from Yuna, or Yuna can learn something from Lulu, who's like a black mage. Lulu could she can learn fire from Lulu, and Lulu could learn cure from Yuna or whatnot. It was pretty cool that way. Like Ultima too, and Holy and stuff. Yeah, I think Yuna was the one who knew Holy, but you had to unlock and had Lulu to go through it, so she also could go over and learn Holy on Yuna's spear grid. It was pretty cool how it worked. I also remember the ending. Remember the last big battle. There was another battle after the one big battle, and my mom wanted me to. I was playing too long. I wanted me to go to bed that night. So what I did, instead of turning it off because I couldn't save because in the middle of a battle, I couldn't turn it off or lose all the progress. I just turned the TV off and I kept the VCR because I connected to the PlayStation. I don't know how the whole system was hooked up. I just kept everything running overnight, so in the morning I could run over and go back to playing it and finish it. I was afraid my mom would see it and turn it off beforehand because more in the living room. But luckily it was not. I was able to go back and play it and finish it. But that was a memory I always remember, having to keep it on overnight because I didn't want to lose my progress because it was a hard battle, the last battle. And then there's one extra battle after that you have to do. So I was I didn't want to lose my progress. But luckily I was able to finish it the next day, so that was really fun. And that's a good romance story too with Titus and Yuna, which made into Final Fantasy X-2, which is not on my list, but I enjoyed Final Fantasy X-2. Yuna's a dress-up simulator, but I enjoyed that game. So I'm going to show a video. Oh, hey Joker, how are you today, sir? You just made him. I just started my top 10 now. Number 10 is Final Fantasy X. No, more a character. Linguini himself was not really a cook. Remember, it was the rat that cooked. It was Remy that cooked. I like to bake simple stuff. I like to make simple dishes, though. I'm not. I like cooking. I don't. I appreciate it. I appreciate that, Joker. Also follow Joker. You know, on Unfolding Media. For a lot of these, they have all the facts and no fair air where you can travel in your underwear. Ah, maybe I do. Maybe I do.
This is your story.
Sad. It was a sad ending, actually. I got teary-eyed at the end of this game too. It'll eventually go on. The big story. You really get to feel like getting all these characters, like many of the other games I'm gonna talk about. Music's really good. It's an any Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy isn't has good music. Doesn't have good music. Graphics are really great all the time. It's Una. Just someone that she tells us to pave the way, it's sin, and ruined by all these different summons. And then there's a twist in it.
All this started with sin.
Everything starts with sin. He gets something like that in a religious way.
I will defeat sin.
Hates sin. So number 9 is Wild Arms for the PlayStation. Wild Arms is actually probably the first JRPG I ever played. Maybe again I didn't realize what it was. I knew at this time because I was young. I didn't know what an RPG was. I just kind of liked the game. Originally, my mom got it for me at Electric Boutique, and it was actually funny. It came together. It was a used copy. It came with the guidebook. It was $20 altogether, which is pretty cool. Usually the guidebook's like $15 in itself back in the day. So to get the game and the guidebook for $20 was pretty cool at the time in the late 90s. So it was pretty cool. Here's the back of it. You can see it, but I'll show. But it was another good game. I'm just gonna go through my list, and that's pretty much it. So I'm on 9 now, so I don't know. I'll probably be on for the next, definitely probably say hour and a half. I'm just going through my list of games. Once I'm done, I'm pretty much done. So if you want to come on later, you're more than welcome to. So Wild Arms originally came out in 1997. It takes place in the fantasy world of I never could say Filgaia. It follows the adventures of a band of miscreants and adventurers called Dream Chasers who scour the world in search of excitement and fortune. Players seem control of a young boy named Rudy, when I say Rudy, who has the ability to operate powerful weapons called ancient relic machines or arms. Pretty much just guns. He has the ability to have different guns. Forbidden remnants of lost age resembles firearms. Along with companions Jack and Cecilia, the group must use their respective skills to navigate through the face wastelands and dungeons of the world and prevent an otherworldly threat from reviving the lost lead and destroying the world. So again, that characteristic of saving the world. But it was really cool because he did the way the game starts off, which the other Wild Arms games do. So afterwards, you take each individual character. You play as each individual character at first, and then eventually they all meet, and then they become a team, and then you play as all three of them. So that was really cool. And Cecilia has like a character progression. They all have like a backstory, and it was really cool. And Jack's like me. He has a little pet rat he gets to use, and then each character has different abilities. Has different abilities to use to solve puzzles in the dungeon. So Jack and has his rat where he can use to hit switches from far off distance. Cecilia has like magic. There's a meal or something. She can do something to find stuff. I forget. Rudy has bombs, so he can blow things up. It was a really cool game. It's like, and the world's a 2D game, but the battles actually 3D. And nowadays look kind of funny, but at the time it was pretty cool, the 3D battles. That's fine. Yeah, that's good. I probably should be wrapping up by then almost. So yeah, that'll be fine. Just hop on and I see I'll just put you on. So no problem. No problem there. So yeah, Wild Arms. I have the guidebook here. I really like didn't really know much about what type of game this was back then. I was just getting into anime. Even then, I didn't really know what anime was. This is cartoons, but I thought it was really cool. And the opening's pretty cool with the whistling. But yeah, it was like, here we go. That's what it was. Get that out. You have different tools you get to use to solve puzzles. So Rudy has his bombs, rocket skates, a radar, power glove. Jack has. Jack have? Oh yeah, hand pan. That was his rat. That's the name of his rat. Hand pan. There's a guitar, a grappling hook, a lighter to burn things. Cecilia, she has a pocket watch. She can go back in time. I forgot about that. Yeah, she can go back. She can really go back in time. A vase to put out flames. A wand, like a magical teardrop. It was pretty cool. You can summon a bunch of different things too with ruins. That was pretty cool. They had different magic abilities, white and black magic that Cecilia could use. You can unlock. It's all about these. I really miss guidebooks. It's really nice how they made guidebooks back then. Where the golems, that was like the key. The golems were the key to like unlocking stuff for the bear guy. They have a picture of. I think they have a picture somewhere. The big bear guy. Oh yeah. She's like the big bear guy. Last ending boss. I think her name's Mother. That's her name is Mother. But yeah, it was pretty cool. You can't tell it's kind of like 2D. I'm gonna show a video, but yeah, it's like you can't do it 'cause the video. There you go. It's kind of hard to see with the thing, but it was pretty cool. Wild Arms. They made so many after this one. This is the original one. They made, what, 5, 6 after that. They made a few games, sequels afterwards. You can find it, though, if you have a PlayStation, you can find it. It's in the PS1 Classics. You can play if you pay for that, if you pay for the subscription. Or you just get emulated, you can play it that way, too. But it's definitely a cool game. So I'm going to show the trailer. Oh, I see. I sent a Let's Play, Adeline, so I definitely would watch that. I'd watch your playthrough of that. If you did a Let's Play, I would definitely watch that. Wild Arms. You even have the guidebooks. I can help guide you if you need help, get stuck. I can help you with the puzzles. I have the official strategy guide. So I can be your HT for Wild Arms. So definitely recommend Wild Arms. I'll show a trailer. Anime opening. I love this game graphic. So when you see on the 3DS. Number 8, Star Ocean Till the End of Time. You're gonna find I pretty much own these games too. So, Star Ocean Till the End of Time. I played a lot of this game when I was like, let's say 15 or so, because I had a surgery. So that kind of made me, I couldn't do much. So pretty much what I did every day to recover, while I was recovering, I played Star Ocean. So I played a lot of this game. I played it and played it, did all the stuff, did all this, a bunch of crafting, made all the like crafting stuff, all the best weapons and stuff, all the gear. But I definitely played a lot of this game. It was my first Star Ocean game too. I never actually played a Star Ocean game before this one. Yeah, do this director's cut. That's what I got. Say controls. And it was more it wasn't really turn-based. It was like turn-based, but it was like real time. It was real time. You got to control the player and move them around. You could switch different characters out. The other ones would be like AI, do their own thing unless you switch to them to tell them to do something different. Those are like real time. You can just control one character while the other one's fought. You use that one character and use their abilities. That was pretty cool. Where's the story though? Story was a sci-fi story because I guess that's Star Ocean is. It's more like sci-fi. I'm not going into the whole thing, but Universal Star Ocean is a science fiction in nature. Although like the first 2 games in the series, much of the plot is set on an undeveloped planet. The game is set in SD 772 AD 2858. It features a galaxy-spanning government and the Pan-Galactic Federation, several races and species of aliens, different factions, multiple colonized planets, and advanced technology. Despite having a science fiction atmosphere, a form of magic exists in the universe. Symbology, also known as heraldry, tattoo crests and ruins on one's flesh to draw out apparent latent power. So yeah, it begins on planet Hydra 4, where young man Fate, that's the main guy, his childhood friend Sophia, are on vacation with Fate's family. Fate is the son of Robert Lingard, famous scientist in the field of symbological genetics. For unknown reasons, an alien civilization attacks Hydro 4. That's where it starts. They escape, but I think Fate gets separated from his parents, and he lands an undeveloped planet called Vanguard 3. And it kind of goes from there. I mean, pretty much Fate, just like the guy's name entices, that it's his fate to save the world or save the universe. Really, it was really cool. And there's different characters. There was like some characters you couldn't get. Oh, I know you had to like pick at one point. You had to like pick between characters. You couldn't get both. You get one or the other. And that was something too. But yeah, that's the whole story. But yeah, there's a long game, a lot to do, and like a lot of. And if you like to make stuff, they have that in here too. Crafting. We can get items and use different items to craft to make better weapons and gear. It was really good. The graphics at the time were really good too. I enjoyed the characters. I don't want to give too much away. But it was pretty cool. So I'm going to show a trailer. I know the graphics were really good at the time though. Big blue eyes, like characters, big eyes, colorful characters. At first I was kind of confused about this story though, so yeah, it made sense. Big universe. Definitely a good game. Number 7 is one I hold close to my heart. I remember seeing this one in Nintendo Power. I don't have the magazine, but I remember the issue, but I remember seeing it. My friends liked it too. We all kind of played it. So that's something to talk about at school and recess. Because surprisingly, where I went to school, middle school, we still had recess in middle school. So number 7 is Golden Sun for the GBA, Game Boy Advance. This is my only Game Boy Advance game on my list, but it's a very cool game. I remember seeing it first off in Nintendo Power, and I thought, wow, this looks pretty cool. You know, the graphics really got me. Again, I was a sucker for like more 2D graphics. It just looked and like the style of it was really cool. Like the show here, the one picture I remember seeing that picture with the big flaming sword. It's like, oh, you got to summon a big flaming sword, got the rain down. That was pretty cool. I thought that was like a cool ability for the time. Called Ragnarok. But yeah, it had really just a lot of cool elements because all of them have like you can have different elemental powers and through the things the Jin that you get to use, and you can give the different elemental Jin to them. They have different abilities. You also get to summon some cool powerful creatures as well. Again, I really love the summons in this game. It was really cool. The summons. I pretty much used more of the summons, I think, to fight than anything else. I just thought they were really cool. So it was released in 2001 in North America. Golden Sun's story follows a band of magic-attuned teenagers called Adepts on a mission to protect the world of Wayyard from alchemy, a potentially destructive power that was sealed away long ago. During their quest, the Adepts develop new magical abilities called, this is it, Synergy. Assist others and learn more about why alchemy was sealed away. Yeah, it was followed at a sequel, which kind of took that, continued the story, Golden Sun of Lost Age. We got to play as characters you met in the first one, but you got to play as them in the second one. I enjoyed it, but the original, you never really beat the original one. Yeah, it was a close to success. And you get to use magic in the dungeons to move things and stuff, like the push, like and stuff. You can freeze puzzle. You can freeze the puzzles and stuff to help you make pillars so you can cross, make steps to cross over to another area. You had to use that. You had to use those magic abilities to solve puzzles in the dungeon. I didn't realize that. I forgot I had two-person player versus player mode too. Your characters against your friend's party. See who would win. Here's a top-down perspective containing towns, caves, and dungeons. The environments often contain puzzles which require the player to perform actions, just as creating makeshift bridges by pushing logs into rivers or shifting the track of a minecart to gain access to new areas. There's many puzzles require the use of game magic spells called Fizznergy, I'll say. It's useful to both combat and environment. So yeah, it's like the whirlwind spell, which damages enemies in battle. You can use out of battle to remove overgrown foliage blocking the paths. That was pretty cool. Like abilities you could battle with, you could use outside the game too to solve puzzles. Like actual like real magic, you actually use it outside of combat. And it comes from the 4 elements: Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Uranus. No, it's Mercury. So it's pretty cool. Look at that attack. It's a pretty cool attack. He summons a big sword down. He summons a big sword. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I like the characters. They're really cool characters. And the setting was really cool. Again, this for kids who have to go save the world. But it was really cool. I'm sure the other... No, okay. So I'm just going to show... I will show the trailer now. It's another game you can find on Nintendo Switch.
Surround yourself with the magical world of Golden Sun for your Game Boy Advance. Play multiplayer or solo as Isaac and his 3 adepts master the power of synergy, travel immense continents, challenging diabolical foes to deadly duels of destruction. Choose your weapons wisely and wield a mighty force against unspeakable evil. Even move great obstacles with telekinetic powers as you hunt down the 4 elemental stones and save the world. Golden Sun for Game Boy Advance. The power is in your hands.
The power is in your hands. So number 6 is another one I put a lot of time into. And again, you might not agree with this list, but this is my favorites. Everyone's played a bunch of games, so you know, I'm sure other people's lists are different. So number 6 is Dragon Quest VIII. I talked about Dragon Quest before in that article. Dragon Quest VIII was definitely a game I couldn't pass up when it first came out. Really got into the hype of it. Like I think most of Japan did too, because I hear that a lot of Japanese really, I think, stopped everything to play this game when it came out. There we go. So Dragon Quest VIII, Journey of the Cursed King. Again, the creator of Dragon Ball was also the one behind the character design, or the whole design, the whole game design, as you can tell. If you're into Dragon Ball, the similarities. So it came out in 2005 in North America. Dragon Quest VIII uses cell shading for the characters and scenery and is used the first game in the series to have fully 3D environments and character models. The game retains most of the series' role-playing game elements such as turn-based combat and experience level system. Dragon Quest VIII follows the silent protagonist. That's what he doesn't talk. He plays a silent protagonist. And his party of allies as they journey toward the goal of defeating the wicked Dol Magus, who cursed the kingdom of Trolltane and its people. That's what I believe. There's more to it than that, because it's only like it's like the first half of the game. It goes a little bit more to it. It's more turn-based system. Pictures. It was really cool. You get to play, there's different costumes you can give your characters too. That was pretty cool. But I just like the world. It was a wide open world. I felt like I was in an anime, kind of wide open world like anime with the bright colors. And this is like a live action anime, interactive one. Especially into like Dragon Ball. That's kind of what the world was. It was really cool. You collect monsters as well. You can battle with in the monster arena. It was really cool. Again, I played a lot of time into this one. I had a big crafting system too. You can make stuff. There's only some outfits you can make, like for Jessica. You had to get for like this tights and stuff and bunny ears involved. I'll just say, look like a Playboy bunny. I remember I was so happy when I finally got that outfit together. It was really cool. So I'm gonna show a trailer.
My first guinea pig.
Father, look out!
Just remember being captivated by the world itself. I said, how pretty it is.
You
pretty game.
You can leave me out of this, thank you.
What brings you here?
I think I'd never play it again though. I put so much time in the game, I think I could never go back and play it again. So many hours into this game. Maybe like 80 or so hours. You have to walk too.
From cool, blimey!
It is time we brought this little show to an end. Now, taste my true power.
Voila!
The puff puff.
Le poof poof.
Cool,
That's the
blimey!
best part of the game. The poof poof. You like the poof poof? The puff puff. Number 5 is Tales of Symphonia. For the GameCube. I really enjoyed this game. If there's any game that felt like you were in an actual anime, that was like Tales of Symphonia, at least for the time anyway. Because of the visuals. Tales of Symphonia came out in 2004. And again, just another one I saw when it first was previewed in Nintendo Power. I was like, wow, this is one I definitely needed to play. What is this game? Just because of the anime. Like I said, at this time I was really getting into anime. I just saw the like the picture here, the characters, the animation. There's like the pictures of it. And like, wow, this looks really cool. I need to play it. And I definitely glad I did. I say another game I spent a lot of time in, I should say. I remember one time we went on vacation. I went on vacation with my parents. I had to take my game. It was like a car vacation. It was like a road trip type thing. It wasn't like too far away. But I brought my GameCube with me so I could actually play this game at the hotel because I couldn't get away from it because it was just really good. I really was enjoying it very much. So the game takes place in a fictional world called Sylvant and follows Lloyd Irving. Lloyd accompanies his childhood friend Colette Brunel, who is destined, the chosen one, like I said, who is destined to go on a journey to save their world. As the journey progresses, they learn that saving Sylvan endangers Tethiala, a world parallel to their own. The game's central theme is an RPG that resonates with you, they say. Nice part about this game too, with the combat, again, it was real time, but you actually have 4 people play. You had 4 characters, and you can actually have 4 people play at the same time. That was really cool. I mean, during the story, you can only hit one person move the character around, but when you actually got into combat, you can actually have 3 other friends come in and play as the other 3 characters in your party. And that was pretty cool. And you can do different combos together. So that was really, really, really neat. I got to do that with my back in the day with my one friend when he played it. I already beat it at that time, so I got to play with him. I enjoyed watching it, and I actually was able to help him by participating in the battles. I thought that was pretty cool. It's kind of neat for someone who instead of sitting there watching someone play, you can actually kind of you can actually join in the game. So that was pretty cool. Did they get best? So there's the gameplay right there. The art style was really cool too. Like I said, it looked like it came out of an anime. There are 3 major areas: an overworld field map, town dungeon maps, and a battle screen. The overworld map is a 3D model featuring a scaled-down version of the game's fictional world, which the player travels through to reach the game's locations. After the preceding games of the series, the world map can be traveled by foot, on the party's quadruple, or on the pet noise. Just like I had a pet too. Was it on here? I forget what it was. I think it was like a wolf or something. Don't hold me. I forget what it was. And find vehicles. Here's the battle system. It's a multi-lined linear motion battle system. 4 characters from the party are chosen to battle. These are controlled by a player and are guided by artificial intelligence, with instructions set for the player beforehand. You can switch too. You can switch from one to the other though. And when damage is dealt to opponents feel unison engage. When this is full, unison attack can be triggered, allowing the party to use techniques simultaneously on one single enemy. Yeah, you get graded by the battles too. And you can cook food too in the game too. There's a cooking things. You can heal yourself after battle if you have ingredients to cook stuff. EX gems. Don't say that. Don't say that here though. Now does it say characters? I said the characters were really good, and the story was really good too. And the story again has a nice little twist to it. I mean, I guess kind of typical twist, but still like a good twist to it. Again, saving the world. I don't say it here. They did make a sequel too for the Wii, which surprisingly wasn't too bad. It kind of takes place after the first game. I don't say it on here, but yeah, you could play it multiple. Yeah, because it says even on here 2 to 4. 2 to 4 players at once. So that was really cool. If you really like anime, then you definitely would like this game. This one's like the peak of like anime style JRPG. At least graphically anyway.
The time has come to awaken the goddess Martel, who sleeps at the center of the world.
The cutscenes. It looks like an anime.
The battles were fun. To become an angel.
Not eating anymore, not sleeping anymore, not feeling anything anymore.
Right now, we need to carry the burden of the hopes and dreams of the victims and fight on their behalf.
I promised I wouldn't make another mistake.
Goodbye.
Colette!
That was really cool. Kira had different abilities.
I ask that you lend me your power.
I'm sorry. I couldn't save you.
We must reunite the worlds.
I will fight with everything I have.
And we will win.
I beg you.
There's
Please
a lot of
wake
different
up.
costumes too for your characters. It's like I got the Tales games. So number 4, drum roll please. Lunar Silver Star story complete. It's kind of a toughie. I don't know if I want to make it go lower than 4, but after some thinking, I think 4 is where it should be. You might disagree with me on that. I think the reason I start 4 because it's a very good game. And again, if you love want to get lost into it and be part of a interactive anime, the story is kind of generic for a JRPG. Saving the world, boy has to go save girl and save the world. But the characters are really good, and the story's good, and the music is amazing, and the combat's good. Overall, if you want a typical JRPG, this is definitely one you would want to play. Is Lunar Silver Star Story Complete. It is really good. I remember getting this, and it was really cool at Electric Boutique, the special version. Because I remember seeing in my Electric Gaming Monthly, I remember finding it in the a whole article, a whole advertisement on it. It's like, wow, it really catches your attention. Look at this. It's Lunar. One of the year's must-play RPGs. But look at that advertisement. Does it not make you want to go buy it? No different stuff there. What was the other one? This one. I can't. Now it's gone. There we go. Different scenes here. When I saw this, I was like, wow, I need to play it. This really was eye-catching. And I was like, wow. So I was hooked by the first advertisement I saw of it. It's like, wow, this looks really good. So I was lucky enough to get a used copy of it, and it was back in the day, pre-played for $39.99 back then. What I really liked about this too, I loved all work and design games, but you don't see this anymore. I had the map too, but I just missed look how nice this instruction book is, manual is. It's such a nice instruction book. All the interviews, but I had to tell you to cast the characters. This is the instruction book, so tell you how to use the menu. I just love that work and design package their games. Talks about the combat system. This is the instruction book. It's a very fancy instruction book. It was just really cool little instruction book. I kind of miss instruction books anyway in general. It was really nice. It originally came out for the Sega CD, then they brought it they did a remaster, I guess an updated version for the PlayStation. I even had the guidebook for it. I was able to get the guidebook for it. Some romance. If you want a romantic hero's journey, this is definitely the game for you. So let me share my screen. I definitely love Lunar. It has a special place in my heart. Yeah, it's a remake of the 1992 Lunar Silver Star. It came out on the PlayStation in 1998 or 1999 for the North American. So it says here. Like its forerunner, the game follows the exploits of Alex, a young boy from a small, humble town who enters a life adventure intrigued after being chosen as the heir apparent to the title of Dragon Master, guardian of the forces of the planet. With the help of his expanding band of companions, Alex must pass the trials set by ancient dragons to claim his place in history and stop a powerful sorcerer and former hero from controlling the world. That's a pretty good summary. Like I said, boy has to save the world. It's turn-based, very turn-based. You know, one character attacks, then enemy attacks and stuff. It was just really cool. Just the graphics and even the combat. And it's voiced, usually the combat's voiced, like they say something when they attack and stuff. The characters. That was really cool. The traditional top-down role-playing video game featuring two-dimensional characters and background graphics. Yeah, it's like over an hour of animated. I think altogether, like over an hour of animation cutscenes. You put it all together. So that's for the time. It was really something else to actually have like animated cutscenes. You know, it looked like straight from an anime, which I'll show in a second. And that was really cool. Well, it's also cool in it. You also could collect these what they call broomids or bromids. They were pictures of the female characters. There's like 12 of them you could collect. There's like 4 for each lady. You had to collect. You can collect them, look at them anytime you wanted. That was really cool. Then they also had a place called the Hot Springs. You go to, or they had springs you go to. There's a male and female one. We needed soap, which actually was very expensive. We had to buy it before. You had to buy it early on in the game on the boat. But you have the soap. You can take it to these springs. There's like a male and female spring. There was a cutscene for both of them, a male cutscene and a female cutscene. We saw like the women bathing, and then the men as well. Well, the men's was more funny though. I was like this picture they show of one of the characters. It kind of reminds me of Adeline, since he doesn't wear pants or underwear. Mr. Nash over there, who really cared about his hair, his appearance. But yeah, it was a really good game. Very traditional JRPG, for sure. Okay, no problem. You should pop in, so if I see you, it's all good. Sorry, I'm talking about Luna. I might get distracted, so you might just have to tell me you're on. But yeah. So first, let me show you the trailer. Voice 2 for PS1 game. The time. Go back to this. It's a classic. I'll play a classic JRPG. Lunar Silver Star Story. Complete is definitely it.
Thought it'd be kind of a more interesting stream to drop in here for a couple minutes.
Yeah, what have you thought so far?
It's interesting because the use of JRPG, I think, has changed a lot from when I was younger. Because it was like any RPG game you're playing, right? It's like you're taking the role of you know, the protagonist, the hero, and you're kind of becoming like the avatar of who and what he is, directing him around the world. There's a big storyline, a plot line, many characters, interactions. There's a lot of progression built into the game. You know, it's not like a little run and gun, you know, it's like an immersive experience, right?
Yeah.
And the delineation classically, I believe, has always been like in the combat system more than anything else. So the JRPGs would use a turn-based combat system, whereas Western RPGs would be kind of more of the action adventure type RPGs, you know.
But anyway, number 3 is Legend of Dragoon. So Legend of Dragoon came out in 2001 or 2000. What I enjoyed about this game was you actually got to transform in battle into these cool outfits, like Dragoon outfits. You got different powers, and that was pretty cool. So because it's just 3D, pretty much saving the world. We had quick time events. You had to like hit the button at the right time to do like more damage with attacks and stuff. And the different, the more you got new techniques, kind of a little more challenging. You had to hit the button, quick time. But it was kind of a flop game. It came out at the same time, I think, like Final Fantasy VII. So Final Fantasy VII kind of overshadowed Legend of Dragoon.
Everything in the world.
Yeah, so unfortunately it didn't become much. Yeah, here you go. You have to hit the X, like here. If you see the picture, you have to hit the X at the right time when it lined up in the square to do the most damage and stuff.
Yeah, that seems very Japanese in the aesthetic, where the particular outfit you're wearing is relevant to, I guess, kind of the characteristics, the stats, and the capabilities of your character. I mean, you see that trope all throughout animes too, you know.
Oh yeah, because as the game follows a group of warriors led by protagonists Dot as they attempt to stop destruction of the world. That's pretty much. But it has turn-based mechanics and real-time commands. Let's see about the Dragoon pods. They should have that. Oh, here you go. During the gameplay, a character will obtain a Dragoon spirit, which gives, it's kind of like Power Rangers or Power Rangers, and they made that Western Knights of it's on Fox Kids, Knights or something, whatever they could turn into Knights or something. But this, I forget, it was old. But it gives an ability to transform into Dragoon form while in combat. Dragoon form changes the character's appearance, giving them wings and making them float in the air. Character can only become a Dragoon during battle if they obtain spirit points, which are received after successfully executing an addition attack. You had to do the attacks well to get points. And in Dragoon form, the character receives a boost to the damage and damage resistance, and the commands of attack guard items in one are replaced with Dragoon attack and Dragoon magic. If Dragoon attack is selected, the player enters a new QuickTime event to extend the number of attacks to execute. A circle appears with a line that moves clockwise, and when the line reaches the top of the circle, the player must press X to execute additional attack. Dragoon magic allows the player to execute a powerful offensive or defensive spell. The Dragoon form is only usable for a limited number of turns and must be recharged to be used again. I thought that was different for the time, because you actually like you said, like it is very Japanese. You can transform and in battle, and you can be a little more powerful than you were, and use the and like, and they had like one. She's like a healer, so her like in her Dragoon form, she could do like more healing attack and stuff. She was more, you know, to help with heals. You had like different characters. That's just I'm not gonna go into that. Yeah, it was like, I think it was like 9 characters you get to play as. It was like 3, but you got like 9. You can switch it, and you got in that game too. I think you can switch out too in battle, I believe. So though in battle you could switch out in battle. You weren't stuck to those like 3 characters you picked. You could switch them out. So that was different too.
Welcome to the world of my imagination.
So number 2, I guess you should make it dramatic. Not 2. Blue. I actually like the sequel more than Luna, the first one. I think because it is a sequel of sorts, but it takes place I think like 1,000 years after the first one. But the characters in the first one are in it, and the voice actors, like a couple of them are in it from the first one and the second one. And it's just, I mean, it's the same type of gameplay, the turn-based combat, but I mean, it's just a little more. I feel like the characters are a little more. There's more to the characters in this one than in the first one. Because in the first one, I felt like they're kind of plain and just kind of very generic characters, but they don't really develop or grow. But in this one, like the Lucia, the one here, she actually has like a whole character arc that she goes through, and you see her progress. Because she's an alien from another planet, and she comes down. She has no like emotions. She has no sarcasm. Doesn't have like any emotions at all. But over time, being with this guy and the other people, she starts to develop actual like, human emotions. You start to see her grow, and she gets to form a relationship with him. And there's even a whole epilogue. And this one has an epilogue, and that at the end of that's kind of a tearjerker, a happy ending. So it's kind of like a very like very good, ending. Very cool. Maybe that too at the end. But
so you're saying the game is basically an Asian massage parlor?
Well, again, there is stuff. She does get naked a lot in the game. Lucia does get naked a lot in the game. Because again, she's an alien, so she doesn't understand nudity. She doesn't understand like when she comes down in a human form. She doesn't understand why she'd have to be modest, anything. Because she doesn't have that concept like humans do. Like you need to cover your body. You can't be naked around people. But then also, unfortunately, you won't like it. But that's something else she learns. She starts to develop that she can't be naked. She gets embarrassed later on, but
what terrible party members to correct her in her her absolute ignorance of the world. She's basically like a small child mentally thinking, oh, I just want to enjoy stuff and be nice to people, and no, people had to correct her. Terrible people.
Yeah, that's true. But it's still you still get to see again like any other one. I just love the box too and all, but all these whole like things.
Nice.
Yeah, Let's see. I also love the soundtrack. It came with the soundtrack used, but apparently, unfortunately, was it 2 discs or 1 disc? I think it's 2. No, it's 1 disc. And the other ones, it got a little scratched up, so I had to get some of the other songs later on, other ways.
Mm-hmm.
But back when I first got this, the internet I wasn't able to do that, so I only got some of the songs. Thank goodness for the internet. Now you can find anything. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love the packaging of the books and stuff too. You just don't find instruction books like this anymore. It is loose.
Yeah. Instruction books used to be like kind of like an integral part of collecting or having the game, because it was something that you could, thumb through, physically reference. They'd have maybe some pictures, some helpful text, something about the game. It was just, something you could touch. And I think it really added so much value having, some decent book documentation, whatever kind of stuff, with whatever game you got. I miss that.
Totally agree. It's just so nice. I know. Even just the white goods, even the flimsy ones were nice to have in the other games.
Mm-hmm.
These are just the special ones with the hardbound and the stuff. Yeah. So nice. But yeah, originally, because you had the Sega CD version, it was the or Sega Saturn, I should say, console first in Japan. It came over to it was ported to the PlayStation in 1999. And translated for North America in 2000 by, of course, Working Design, because they were known for doing all the translations at the time for these type of games.
Love that company.
Yes.
Love them guys.
R.I.P. Working Design.
Yep.
But, what was also nice about these two, this does go with why they're my favorite. But I liked how they had the making of 2 CDs and stuff. You can see the making of both games that came with it. That was nice. But ooh, you went black. So it came out in 2000. So as the first game, Two features an enormous amount of material appealing to the game play at a personal level. The story features likable characters engaging in quests that will help them mature as people. In particular, the 2 main characters develop a powerful romance. Dialogue is also, which I like said, the first one had a little bit of a romance, but wasn't really like girls say like girl likes boy, boy likes girl, girl gets kidnapped, then the boy has to save girl. That was like the first now, pretty much. There wasn't much like development in them. Like they were childhood friends. They liked each other. And in the end, spoiler, he saves the girl and they get together. But it wasn't much of a like a romance. And this one, you get to kind of see the romance develop and build. That was pretty cool. The dialogue is also a standout, as even minor characters have large quantities of dialogue. There are several hand-animated full-motion video cutscenes, as well as notable soundtrack. Yeah, but an epilogue. That was like unlike the first one had an epilogue. So it was like more to the game. It's actually like there was more hours of gameplay afterwards. If you wanted the perfect ending, you'd have to actually go do the epilogue. That was kind of cool for the game.
Now, was this a kind of like a reimagining of what was it? Lunar Blue, I think, was the second game, and Silver Star was the first. If I'm remembering.
It's a remake of Eternal Blue for the Sega CD.
Okay.
It's a remake. Okay. It's enhanced the graphics and the animation.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what they did. Just like a remaster.
Got it. So it wasn't a reimagining. It was just more like a porting in a sense.
More of a poor remake. They just made it look better, look prettier, and for the PlayStation.
Okay. Cool.
The visuals and everything. So that's what it was. So that's fine. Get people to pay the spend money pretty much. We lost you again. Yeah, because it was originally released on the Sega Saturn in 1998. It was ported to the PlayStation 1999, they say. Yeah. Or, hold on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. I guess you just went black. That was it.
Okay. All right, apologies. I have to cut out for 5 minutes. I'll be back, though.
Okay. No problem.
All right. Sorry, chat.
Bye.
We'll see everybody soon.
Let me just I'll take you out.
See ya.
I don't know how this works anymore. Oops. Oh, we moved. There you go. I got you. So with that said, let me just move this here. So here's the plot. So it's set 1,000 years after the events of Silver Star. The game follows the adventures of Hero, a young explorer and adventurer who meets Lucia, a visitor from a faraway blue star, becoming entangled in her mission to stop Zophar, an evil and all-powerful being, from destroying the world. During his journey across the world of Lunar, Hero and Lucia are joined by ever-expanding cast of supporting characters, including some from its predecessor, the original Lunar, which I thought was really cool. And I didn't even know there was. I forgot to tell Alan this, but I didn't realize that they even made a sequel to Lunar until one day, long after I've had Lunar Silver Star story. I went to, I think it was like Electric Boutique. No, I think it was like a Babbage at the mall, and I saw this on the shelf. It said Lunar 2, and I was like, what? They made a sequel to Lunar, which I really loved. So I was like, I had to get this game. I didn't know they made a sequel. And I was like, wow, I didn't know they made a sequel to Lunar. So that was like really cool. And awesome guest appearances from the characters from the original, which was really nice. That's really. And of course, you had Jennifer Steigo, who did the singing for Luna and songs for Luna and in this one. And I really like those songs. She did Luna's boat song and Wings in the first Luna, and then she did Eternal Blue for this one. No, Lucia's theme, I think, and Eternal Blue. And I just always like those songs. I have good memories of those songs as well. But it's pretty much the same game. It was the same combat, pretty much. But I just like also like the first Luna. I liked how the characters talked with each ability they did. They would say something with every ability. So if like Leo, one of the characters, gave someone an item, he'd be like, "Sample my goods." I kind of laughed, and I always had a dirty mind to that quote when he said that. "Sample my goods," or "You need a spanking," he would say, and I just thought that was funny. He attacked the enemies with one of his attacks. He'd be like, "You need a spanking," or "Happy hour." I think it was Juan Fa who healed. Like "Happy hour," because he was kind of a drunk. So I thought that was always fun. Both the characters more personality during combat. You saw a little more of the personality. Oops. So yeah, I guess it came out in the Saturn version and the PlayStation version. So like I said, I just liked how it seemed like the characters kind of grew more. I got to know the characters better, kind of more. You got to see him grow more. He had more of an arc to him, especially Lucia, and he just was kind of just more unlike Luna, where it was kind of more this typical characters in the RPG, boy and hero in this gang saving the world. This one kind of more because each of a lot of the characters had more of a backstory too. Like Jean, she has a backstory in this game. Juan Fa, they kind of all have a backstory. Unlike the first one with Nash and Mia and Jessica and Kyle, didn't seem to have much of like a backstory, or at least wasn't really fleshed out. But in this one, the characters had a little more of a backstory that he got to explore. And even Jean too. You get to see Jean grow from a gypsy to I won't spoil it, but she kind of has a transformation as well. Have a backstory you kind of didn't expect. So I really enjoyed that. So let me show you the trailer. Small style video game. Again, have a lot of animation. Combat. Like dragon. I just like the graphics. About the 6K graphics. Really enjoyed it. Maybe it hasn't really been. This one has not been remade, but I know Luna Silver Star story has a couple times been done. remakes of that on the PSP and mobile versions. I had the mobile version of Lunar. I never really made a remake of this one or port it, never made a port of it anywhere. The way you can replay this game is either if you have it or emulator. Definitely one you need to check out if you're a big RPG fan in general, especially Japanese RPGs. Do not. So finally, ready for number one?
Yes, let's do it.
It's kind of a, like I said, it's a recurring pattern actually. That is Octolad Collection. I would probably say more Octolad 1 and 2 than 3, but 3 goes with 1 and 2, but it's one whole like story. Let's put it all together. Another one from Working Design. But I really enjoyed the story of this, and I spent a lot of time playing this game and watching the. You get in the second one, especially you get all the characters from the first game, because the first one ties. I guess the backstory of this is that the Octolad and Octolad 2 was actually one game originally, but it was so big they had to break it into two. Had to break it into 2 games. That's why the first one kind of ends the way it does, because second one, and then the second one kind of picks up where the first one, but a different perspective, which I'll talk about in a second. But you get the characters from the first one join the characters from the second one, and you get a bunch more characters. And it's more turn-based, strategic, like sort of a million Final Fantasy Tactics kind of game. We have to move the character certain places and the enemies. Like a chessboard type deal, tactics. Octolad is a compilation of the Octolad RPGs for the PlayStation. Of course, localized by Working Design. Was released in 2002. The game forms a trilogy with a continuous story throughout each. Kind of, sort of. The last story, the third one's not bad. But the 2, I guess, more 1 and 2 really hold a place. I really enjoy. So Ock is the primary protagonist in each game. Features a new lead. Each game features a new lead character. Octolad 1995 sets the stage for the next two games that follow Ock and Kukuru as they discover a plot to restore the Dark One. Octolad 2 1996 introduces Elk, a young hunter that becomes tangled in the plot and eventually joins in the battle against the Dark One. Octolat 3, 1999, features Elk, a young hunter with a mysterious past. And pretty much it's like Indiana Jones, it's the Ark of the Covenant pretty much that gets found and it gets opened, and then the Dark One is like gets released, and then yeah, that's like the end of the first one, and then second one kind of more like they have to stop him. But they have to, so that's pretty much the story. But it's like, but the different characters in it, and there's like sub-arcs, sub-quests in that game, like an art, so like different for characters, get to know them a little bit better. And so there's a lot of characters in the second one. I think there's, besides the monsters you can collect and catch and use in the party, I think there's like maybe, I don't know, 14, 15 characters. You can have like 6 or 7 at one time in the battle. Something like that, I think. Maybe maybe yes. I'll have to remember 6. But yeah, it's like a lot of things. So each game expands on the previous one. Octolat 2 features a much larger and less linear world. The Octolat 2 I enjoyed because it's the open world. Octolat 1 is kind of, you can go to different places on the map, but there's no towns, there's no place to buy items. It's just you go to one place, you go to another. It just kind of keeps, it kind of, in a way it's good because it kind of keeps moving. There's no side quest. You just kind of do, there's a story you do when you keep moving on. Unlike Octolat 2, there's more, you can venture the world a bit more, you can explore more. There's towns to see, nice 2D graphics they have. Let's see. So it's a turn-based strategy battle system. Each character or enemy is assigned points for the turn. So let's see. Yeah, it's like different ranges, like typical tactical game. You can attack so far, and enemies can jump around. You can jump around things too, obstacles and stuff in combat. They have magical abilities too, not just melee based. I like the chat. There's like, there's no like voice acting in it, so it's just they use the Japanese voices for the combat, so they'll like speak in Japanese as they fight. So like they're like Toto healing, like it's just like English. Like that's kind of funny. Shuffle. That's all like just the Japanese voices in it. Enjoyed it. You can equip items and monsters with the equipment. Yeah, like the second one is like hunts. You can go on and capture the hunts to get money and stuff. There's more words. Here's the story. Let's see, can I go? Perception. Oops, I did that. There we go. I also hit the right screen. Oops. There we go. The first one. So the first one kind of takes place as you play as Ark. His father is he's missing. They think he's dead, and he goes off to look for look for his father. And in the meantime, before that happens, there's this girl whose father's like this clan who's watching this like flame that's not supposed to go out, and this one guy tricks her into, because she's supposed to get married, and she doesn't want to get married, so cause it's like a arranged marriage. So this guy tells her, well, if you extinguish the flame, you don't have to worry about getting married anymore. So don't be girl. She goes and does that. And she releases a demon. And while Ark's out looking for her father, he finds her and he helps her reignite the flame, but it's too late, and pretty much they have to go and find the Ark that's been I'm not doing the best job explaining it, but it's kind of like he releases evil, and they have to go take care of it. But kind of the ending though for the second one, it kind of, because it ends. I find like it really ends on the second one, and it kind of has like a happy but sad ending, and I really like enjoyed it though, because again it's like a romance between Ark and Kukuru that you see in the first one, and it's in the second one as well. But Cuckoo is not really a main character. Is not really a character as much in the second one. She's there. You play as her a little bit later on, but she's not really like as there as the first one. But I don't know, the characters was really like the characters were really different and unique. They all had different personalities. And the first one is the secret character you can get, but you have to like go through this 100th floor dungeon to get to her. You have to defeat her, and then she'll join you. And that's pretty cool. Because then if you the thing about it too, I enjoyed was you can transfer your save from the first one into the second one. So whatever your level your characters were at the end of the first one, when they rejoin you in the second one, they're that level. So it's pretty cool. And if you have the secret character, you can there's a whole arc with her, and you get her to be more powerful in the second one. She gets like a whole transformation, and that was pretty cool as well. And that was kind of cool how you do a cross save. You can save, you can use your save from the first into the second one. I found that to be really cool. But overall, I found the aesthetics of the game to be really pretty, and I just really enjoyed the music. And just it's nothing like a typical JRPG, but just I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. I also had the guidebook. It's like I find it's like a Bible, really. It's so fat. I just really enjoyed it. And let's see, a good picture. You have a Woebot that uses floppy disks. I always enjoyed that. Different abilities. He has like I don't know, but he has like. He has to have like 94. He has like I don't know 1, 4, 1, 2. He has to have like 50 abilities as Woebot you can get. And that's like different. Different abilities. The Woebot, and it's kind of funny that way. But yeah, just a very I don't know. This is a very I thought it was really made, very classic RPG. Very I don't know what to say. Voice saves world, but it's a very like intriguing story with the characters and the combat. It's not like Lunar where it's like you fight a monster and there's like and the parties on one side, enemies on the other side. It's more tactical. Like you go into this area and then the monsters are different places and your characters are one place and you got to move around to attack and kind of do strategic. So it made it a little bit different. It wasn't just like turn-based. I mean, it was turn-based. Was like you go, they go. It was kind of, you had to do a little thinking too, like how you're gonna reach the monsters and everything. And if you have like one of your members are ambushed, how you gonna get over there to save them and whatnot. Really show gameplay.
Yeah, you got a quick gameplay trailer for that one?
They do. This one's actually, I think, quick collection. I can find combat for the second one, though. The second one. This one. The third one's okay. This one's not. I tried to think more 3D.
It looks cool though, and it kind of gives me some ideas for future games that I work on in the kind of tactic kind of space like that.
Oh yeah,
So
really cool.
I like that idea. I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice way to see what attacks you could use and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. So yeah, that's my top 10 favorite JRPGs.
Nice.
Thank you. So yeah, I think. Go ahead.
There was a third one I thought of earlier.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was on the PC Engine. It's called High Leg Fantasy. Not safe for work.
Okay.
So it was a very Japanese, Taiwanese reimagining of Final Fantasy with all the great stuff that they couldn't put on a game that would be sold in a store.
I gotcha.
Yep. It was a PC Engine TurboGrafx game back in the day.
Oh, nice.
That one's great too because it knows it can't take itself seriously. It doesn't try to. The mechanic fantasy with a great reskinning and some context and language changes.
Nice. You cut out
do your own research.
Doing a private browser.
Yes.
With a VPN.
You won't need a VPN. It's not ratcheted up that high.
Okay. If you say it, then it must not be.
Yeah, because I definitely have the proper judgment on all things in life. So you should always listen to me because I would never lead you wrong, especially when you're playing a video game online.
Yeah, especially a game called Gauntlet.
Yeah. Always shoot the food.
Right, HT? Do you shoot the food? I feel like I have an angel and a devil on my shoulders with you and HT.
I don't know which one of us is the angel.
That's a good now.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna say HT. I think you're an angel. Yeah, I think you're. I don't know.
Definitely.
I think an angel or a devil. This is a troll. You have a troll on my shoulder.
I'll take it. I'm not very quick-witted, so I'll have to think about it for a couple days to really come up with a proper witty retort to it. But until then, I will be the troll on your shoulder.
Nice. Well, with that said, I guess I'll only put up my schedule. I do that.
Cool.
Actually, okay. Tie screen.
So hey man, you do your schedule, you do your normal closeout thing. I got to get back to work, but thanks for having me here for a few minutes to.
No problem. Where can people reach you?
Just my little link down there, my username in the chat.
I don't. Yeah,
what's my username down there? I forget.
Adeline or More Complete for Adeline?
More Complete. I can't even remember what I am anymore. Okay. Yep, More Complete is for my Rumble channel that currently has 0 pieces of content, but eventually will. Sometime, someday.
He will. We'll have to get the 4 bromingos together.
Yes, right. The 4 bromingos. Bromigos.
Bromigos.
Yep, bromigos.
He's going to tug HT into it.
Yep.
No problem. Thanks. Completed.
All right, brother man. Thanks for having me, and catch you next stream.
Yep, stay safe.
You
stay out of trouble.
No. I'll stay safe, but not out of trouble.
Oh, try. I said try to. I didn't say just try to.
No trying, only doing.
Okay. See you at that TNT factory.
That's right. All right, kick me out of chat, man. Do your thing.
So that's Alan. You can follow him at More Complete. At More Complete on Wumble. He'll be streaming soon.